You ever have one of those moments? You've got a huge decision to make, and your gut is screaming one thing, but all the facts, all the evidence are pointing in a completely different direction. It's this classic tug of war, right? And honestly, in the world we live in today, it feels like we're facing that battle almost every single day. So let's get into it. How do we make smarter choices when everything feels so complex?
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start by digging into that whole gut versus data thing. Then we'll look at why the modern age of information has made this so much harder. After that, we'll see some amazing real-world examples of how statistics are making a huge difference, and we'll wrap up by looking at how you can get these skills and what a data-driven future could look like for you.
All right, let's start with the big one, that internal fight between your gut feeling and the cold, hard data. It's not just in your head. It turns out this is actually based on two totally different ways our brains are built to think. I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When everything's on the line, what do you bet on? That little voice inside, that hunch, or the numbers staring you right in the face? Okay, so what's really going on here is pretty fascinating. A Nobel Prize winner, Daniel Kahneman, came up with this idea that we have two systems for thinking. System one is that fast, intuitive thinking. It's quick, it feels comfortable, and it's basically running on autopilot based on everything you've ever experienced. But then there's system two, slow, evidence-based thinking. This one takes real effort. It's deliberate, it uses reason, and, this is the important part, it uses data.
And here's the kicker. Kahneman's research pretty much concluded that while our intuition can be useful sometimes, relying on it too much just opens the door for a much higher risk of making a mistake. It's a huge reason why taking a more careful, data-driven approach is so incredibly important.
Now, if you take that internal struggle and you magnify it by, 1 billion, you get the modern world. Because this problem of making good decisions has become unbelievably complicated.
Let's just be honest about it. We are all drowning in information. Our brains are amazing, but they just weren't designed to process the ridiculous amount of data that gets thrown at us every single second of every single day.
Let's try to put this into perspective because the numbers are just insane. Right now, there's something like 44 zettabytes of data out there on the internet. That's a 44 with 21 zeros after it. I mean, what does that even mean? Well, if you tried to save all that data on old-school DVDs, the stack of discs would get you to the moon and back 222 times. It's just a mind-boggling amount of information.
And what's really wild is the speed. A full 90% of all the data that currently exists on planet Earth was created in just the last 2 years. This isn't just an information explosion. It's an ongoing, accelerating avalanche. So, here's the bottom line. Every single day, we as humans add another 2.5 quintillion bytes of new data to the pile. Trying to make sense of all that with just your gut feeling, that's like trying to cross the Pacific Ocean in a rowboat. You're going to need a better system.
And that better system, that better tool, is statistics. Statistics is how we find the important patterns, the signal in all that noise. So let's look at a few ways applied statistics is already making a huge impact in the real world.
And believe me, this isn't just some boring stuff for academics. Statistics is the powerhouse behind smarter decisions in super important fields, like healthcare and medicine, finance and insurance, professional sports, and even government. Just think about healthcare. Statisticians are absolutely vital. They're the ones who design the clinical trials for new medicines. They analyze all the data to make sure a new drug is actually safe and that it works, and then they evaluate patient outcomes to improve public health for all of us. It's a huge deal.
Or look at the world of finance. Statistics are the bedrock of the entire system. Banks use them to figure out risk when they're lending money. Traders use them to analyze the markets, and economists use them to try and predict and lessen the blow of financial crises. It protects everybody's money.
And for a really fun example, just look at sports. You've probably heard of Moneyball, right? The story of the Oakland A's baseball team. They used advanced statistics to find undervalued players that all the old-school scouts with their gut feelings were overlooking. And it worked. They competed with teams that had way bigger budgets. It is the perfect story of data beating intuition.
Okay, so we've seen what statistics can do, how powerful it is. The obvious next question is, how do you get good at this stuff? How do you learn to turn all that messy, raw data into a clear, confident decision?
The key phrase you need to know is applied statistics. And really, the name says it all. This isn't about sitting in a room thinking about abstract math theory. It's about taking all those powerful statistical tools and actually applying them to solve real problems in business, in science, wherever.
So if you're thinking, okay, I want that expertise, let's take a look at a program that's designed to give you exactly that, like the one at Michigan Technological University.
To deal with those zettabytes of data we were talking about, you need skills that companies are looking for right now. And Michigan Tech gets that. Their online Master of Science in Applied Statistics was literally built with feedback from people in the industry. So it's designed from the ground up to give you the exact skills that employers are desperate for.
Plus, they know you probably have a job and a life. The program is all online and it's broken down into these intense 7-week courses. And with several start dates a year, it's about as flexible as it gets, so you can make it work with your schedule.
The whole thing is a focused, 30-credit program. That means you get right to the good stuff. No wasted time, just an efficient path to getting the skills you need to really accelerate your career.
But, don't just take my word for it. Here's what a recent grad, Jae-Hyun Lee, had to say. He said the focus on multiple real-world applications is what really made the difference, and that the university has done its homework to make sure students actually succeed after they graduate. That says a lot. So, we've seen the problem, this massive overload of data. And we've seen the solution, using applied statistics to make sense of it all. Now, all that's left is taking that next step into your own data-driven future.
If you feel like you're ready to get past those simple gut feelings and you want to be the person who can turn raw data into real insight and decisive action, you can learn all about the program and even apply right at mtu.edu/globalcampus.
So, I'll just leave you with this final thought. We live in a world that is practically begging for people who can make sense of all this information. There are countless problems out there just waiting for a solution. The only question is, what problems are you going to solve?